Okay, part 2 of my arcs and central angles video, because my kids are nuts, and this is why it takes so long for me to get videos up in the first place, but that's okay. That's all right. We will make do with what we have here. All right. Again, so this is just asking you to find the value of x for these central angles. How do I know that? Because look, x has a degree symbol, so clearly they're asking about the central angle, not that the number will change even if they were asking for the arc, but the arc wouldn't need a degree symbol. Okay, so anywho, we're going to look at the information that they gave us. So again, we're kind of talking about this as if it's a pizza. The whole pizza would be 360 degrees. So this slice here has a central angle measure of 90 degrees. That's what this little box means, is 90 degrees, okay? This piece here has 120 degrees. We know that the whole thing needs to be 360. So if this is 120 and this is 90, we would just add those two numbers together to get 210. Once we come up with that 210 for these two pieces combined, we take it away from the whole thing, which is 360. So 360 minus 210, and we would get the measure of this. So 150. And if you wanted to check your work, you would plug in the 150 here, add it to this 120 and to the 90, and boom, you would see that you have the correct answer of 150 degrees for this central angle measure here, because it would add up to 360 total. All right, coming down here, and let's just review the symbols that we have going on here. So in the first video, I mentioned how we learned about this symbol at the very beginning of the school year. It's line segment. So say we were talking about, actually I'll go up here, line segment BR. There are endpoints. It's not a line. It does not continue forever, okay? So a line segment has two endpoints, all right? So line segment BD and AC are diameters. Now remember, going back up here, a diameter would be the entire way through the center of the circle, from one end to the other. All right, from the outside of the circle all the way across through the center to the other side of the circle. That's your diameter. Radius would be from one side to the center, and then it stops. All right, so they're telling us that BD and AC are diameters of circle O. Now they don't give us, they do give us a diagram. Okay, so here we go. BD is a diameter and AC is a diameter. In telling us that, we now can kind of understand that this piece here stops at the center of the circle to create a central angle. All right, so you've got the measure of angle BOA would be 44 degrees. All right, bear with me because I'm looking at the phone to make sure you guys can see at the same time as looking at the screen so I don't cover things up with my fingers. So this symbol right here represents a circle. So circle O, this whole circle here, circle O, has a diameter BD and a diameter AC. Identify each arc as a major arc, minor arc, or a semicircle of the circle. Now, if you look right up here, I told you in video 1, but if for some reason you're watching this one before you watch video 1, you have all of this information up here. They tell you that a minor arc is anything less than 180. The measure of a major arc is 360 minus the minor arc. It's also going to be more than 180. The measure of a semicircle is exactly 180. Two minor arcs are congruent. Remember, that means equal. If and only if they're corresponding, okay? So corresponding, so like same position, central angles are congruent. The measure of an arc formed by two adjacent, so adjacent would be back to back, okay, side by side, is the sum of the measure of the two arcs. We'll kind of get into that a little bit later, but I just wanted you to know a semicircle would be 180, all right? The minor arc would be less than 180 and the major would be more than 180. So right here, you're just identifying major, minor, or semicircle, and then just tell us what the measurement is. All right, so the measure of minor arc, well, first of all, when they use only 2 letters like this, it's most likely, okay, going to be a minor arc. If you look up here, it even tells you that. GF is a minor arc, CHG is a major arc, okay? They need to use more letters when it's a major arc so that you know which direction to go, from the C to the H to the G, from the C to the H to the G. Okay, so this whole, crust, if we were talking about a pizza, that arc is a major arc. Whereas GF, so you go from the G to the F this way, is a minor arc. You could go from the G all the way to the F this way, but that would make it a major arc and they would need to use another letter. Okay, so you're going to be able to tell the difference between a major and a minor arc by the number of letters they use. Hopefully that's not confusing. So they want you to find the measure of BA. Well, first of all, from the B to the A, it's going to have the same measure as its central angle here. Well, the central angle for BA, BOA, is 44 degrees. Now, 44 is less than 180, so we know that it's a minor arc. Also, they only use 2 letters, so we know anytime they use 2 letters, it's going to be a minor arc. And the measure of it is going to be 44. So you just write 44. You don't need the degrees because we're measuring the arc, not the angle. All right, over here, again, another minor arc, BC. So from the B to the C, well, if you look over here, sorry, I don't think you were watching, but from the B to the C, you'd say to yourself, well, how am I going to figure that out? Remember, a diameter is going to cut the circle in half. And we know that AC is one of the diameters. They told us that right up in the directions, okay? So if we know that half of a circle is 180 and that AC is the diameter, cutting this circle into 2 equal parts or half, we just need to figure out what 180 minus 44 is. Well, 180 minus 40 would be 140, minus another 4 would be 136. So this central angle, BOC, would be 136, making the arc BC also 136. So your answer for this one would just be 136. No degrees symbol because they're just asking you about the measure of the arc. Now over here they want to know about CD. Well, what did we learn about vertical angles? Vertical angles are going to be equal, congruent. They mentioned that up here. 2 minor arcs are congruent if and only if they're in the corresponding central angles are congruent. So basically they're in the same position. They're vertical angles here. So if this is 44, then this right here is going to be 44. They want you to find the measure of arc CD. Well, the arc has the same measure as its central angle. So if this is 44 degrees, this arc is just 44. So your answer is 44 here. And remember, they wanted us to identify if it was major, minor, or a semicircle. Minor, minor, minor. Anything less than 180 is minor. And also you kind of have a little bit of a tip-off because they're only using 2 letters. Which should give you a little bit of a clue here for number 6 that it's probably going to be a major arc, but let's take a look. From the A to the C to the B. From the A to the C, all the way back to the B. That is almost all the way back around from where you started, with the exception of this little piece here, which is 44 degrees, making this minor arc BA 44. 360 minus 44 is going to be, let's see, 360 minus 40 is 320, minus 4 is 316. No, not right now. So this major arc ACB is 316. Okay, and I just showed you how to get that, and that would be a major arc. Again, we kind of got a hint that that was going to be the case because they used 3 letters. All right, over here, we have the measure of arc B, C, D. So we're going to go from the B towards the C to the D. Well, wait a minute. I know that this line segment BD cuts the circle in half. Okay, that would be a semicircle right there. So from the B to the C to the D, that right there is exactly 180. So not only are you going to call this a semicircle, not a major arc or minor arc, but you're also going to say that it has a measure of 180. All right, the measure of arc AD, again, they use 2 letters, so we know that it's going to be a minor arc. From the A to the D, well, you're going to do the same thing that we did for arc BC. Also, if you can see that those are also vertical angles making these congruent parts. Let's see, BC, this up here. So whatever you got for an answer up here, let's see, 180 minus 44, so 136, I believe, is going to be the same measure for minor arc AD, 136. Let's see. Okay, so moving on to, I don't think I assigned this piece. We can kind of, since I don't have this printed out, I probably won't go on to the second page. So if you just want to stop at number 8, I'm perfectly fine with that. I think I would need to be doing a little bit more math out now that I look at there's formulas and everything here. I wouldn't want to just use words to explain this. I would want to write it out. So hopefully next week I can have a video for you that has this paper printed out and I can just kind of do the work and have you watch me solve. If there's any questions, you can always email me, text me, call my work phone, or write in Google Classroom. Good luck.